Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Rati here. So guys, I'm back with a book review yet again, and today I'm going to review Blind Willow Sleeping Woman by Haruki Murakami. It's a collection of short stories, and this is in fact the first book of Haruki Murakami that I've ever read. And I enjoyed this book so much that since then I've been revisiting this book so many times, rereading it a couple of times, and each time that I read this book, it gives me new insights, and there's sort of new layers and layers of meanings to discover from this book. So today I am going to review this book. So guys, since it's a short story collection, I won't really talk about the plot as such, because that would be a dead giveaway. So I don't really want to tell you about the plot of these short stories. There are more than 20 short stories here, so if we go into the plot and everything, it will also get confusing. So I'm just going to give you my general impressions of this short story collection, and what I thought of it, the writing style, and how interesting it is, and why you should read it. So let's get going. So like I said, it's a collection of more than 20 short stories, and if I were to analyze it critically, I would say it's a mixed bag. Some of these stories are so interesting, the plot is very interesting, very well chalked out. Some of these stories are really gripping, and the moment you start reading the story, you just don't want to put down the book until you finish reading the story. But whereas there are others, there are a few stories which are not so gripping. As in there's too much of time spent on building the suspense, too much of time spent in poetic reveries, and a kind of a general kind of a build up, which I think works very well in novels, because a novel is huge, but uh, a short story collection it barely spans a couple of pages. So if you spend too much of time in doing this suspense build up in a short story collection, then I think the reader somewhere gets bored, because the reader really wants to get into the story, and you have to make them get into the story quick. So they really want to know what is exactly happening in the story. So some of these stories I face a problem, you don't actually know, more than halfway through, you don't have a clue as to what exactly is happening and what is the author talking about, because the author is just going sort of round and round, and kind of it all seems too complicated and difficult to understand. So it's again the experimental style of Haruki Murakami, which is a strength which I think works pretty well in novels, because the author has a lot of space to sort of do the build up thing. But I think in short stories it kind of doesn't work so well, which is why I said that this collection is a mixed bag. Some of these stories are very gripping, others are so, and a few you have to struggle to read them. No, but once you start reading those stories, and you sort of get into the mode, then the stories you begin to like the stories, but you have to sort of really push yourself to kind of continue reading some of the stories, because initially it's just too much of abstract and random stuff all over the place, which is what I felt. Also, unlike Haruki Murakami's novels, which I think despite all the magic realism and symbolism and fantasy and everything, the novels do have a very tangible plot, but unlike his novels, although his novels also do not have a closure as such, but I think these short stories are way more open-ended than his novels. Most of these stories do not have a closure. So if you're the kind of reader who is looking for a closure, these stories might disappoint you. These are beautifully open-ended stories, and there's some sort of a suspense lurking beneath the corner in every story. These stories are very playful, and the prose it's very original, playful, inventive, symbolic, Haruki Murakami style. This brings me to the major strength of this short story collection, which is symbolism. Each story is sort of reverberating with a deep symbolism. And if you are the kind of reader who is gifted with a poetic consciousness, and who likes to do a lot of guesswork and imagination, and if you like sort of discovering and investigating the layers of hidden meanings in each story, then you would absolutely love this short story collection. That's the beauty of symbolism, right? That whatever is being said, whatever is being said externally is like an allegory, but everything has, sort of layers of meanings, and depending on where you come from, your own life circumstances, your own cultural and social contexts, you can imaginatively and sort of, critically apply all that stuff to your own life and draw your own inferences, draw your own conclusions. So at the level of symbolism, this short story collection is very rich. It's deeply rich. So that ways, I think these short stories, even though the storytelling is modern, and the tropes adopted for storytelling are modern, the characters are modern characters from the Japanese society and culture. But the the overall feel of these stories is very fairy tale and folk tale like. So I would say I would place these stories more closer to fairy tales and folk tales than modern forms of writing. So these are like Haruki Murakami's short stories are like contemporary fairy tales, contemporary folk tales, because every story has a sort of a set of hidden messages which you need to sort of unravel, which you need to unlock. And even though Haruki Murakami is not like the writings are not like traditional fairy tale, like you don't have those traditional kind of messages, but whatever messages you have, it's still sort of, I think, imparts a great deal of wisdom about life and offers valuable lessons about life. So, that's why these are obviously not typical and traditional fairy tales, because Haruki Murakami is very, sort of, I think he's quite radical and, quite bohemian, and he's always questioning, the givens of a society, the boundaries of a society, sort of the kind of even the sort of standard codes and conducts of genteel conversation, language, everything that the society imposes on us. So Haruki Murakami, through all his writings, I have observed, be it his novels or short stories, he's always uncovering the social fake niceties of a society, and this whole arbitrary language and codes the society imposes on us, and he tries to uncover, the layers of unconsciousness, what is actually going on in the minds of people, outside the fake veneer of society. It's something which he tries to capture in all his works satirically, and that's also evident in these short stories. And that's why I said that these short stories are more like contemporary fairy tales. The title story itself, Blind Willow, Sleeping Woman, it tells you all about how memory itself can capture you so much that it can completely overpower your presence. So in the story, there's this guy, he is talking to his friend, but while he's talking to his friend, his mind is in another time zone when he had met that friend at another place, and he's thinking about his friend's girlfriend, who was rather bizarre, and who drew something called a blind willow, and she was actually, it's something which she made up. There's nothing called a blind willow. And then the whole association, how the memory of his girlfriend and that conversation about blind willow, it triggers a set of associations in his mind, and memory can be so strong that even as he's sitting in some other place presently talking to his friend, his girlfriend's memory captures his mind, and how the whole canvas is altered. It's a beautiful story. It's the first story and the title story of the collection. Then there's a whole story, in which the mirror becomes a metaphor for one's alter ego. So a guy staring at his own reflection in the mirror, how that becomes sort of a profound life lesson. He's scared by his own reflection in the mirror. It seems like a ghost to him. So the mirror becomes, sort of a very interesting metaphor for all sort of things. Then there's a story about, it's called The Ear of Spaghetti. I think it's a hilarious story, and the author is literally, sort of in love with spaghetti. He's cooking spaghetti all the time and eating spaghetti all the time while he's talking to a girl on the phone. And, this whole kind of philosophical kind of speculation on spaghetti, and also a subtle critique of capitalism, satirization of capitalism, and our sort of fetishization with all sorts of things, including spaghetti, which is a part of the stories. Then there's a story called The Iceman, in which a woman falls in love with an Iceman. She marries an Iceman, and the Iceman is not literally an Iceman, but he represents all these qualities of coldness. So what happens to that relationship, and what goes around. So I mean, there are a lot of stories like that. I don't want to really get into specifics and plots, but it's just fascinating. Like I said, the layer of symbolism in all of these stories. Another thing that I noticed in the story collection is, that the author is debunking grand narratives through these stories. So none of these stories, have these grand narratives of politics, culture, or society embedded in their plots. Rather, you find these seemingly inconsequential things which generally do not become subject matters of conversation, or which generally do not become subject matters of societal discourse as such. So such things are sort of are given grand importance, and those grand narratives are debunked. So I think in that way also, the author is making a sort of a political statement. Like there's this hilarious story called The Rise and Fall of Sharpie Cakes, in which there's this company which produces Sharpie cakes, and the Sharpie cakes are like hugely popular, but apparently the Sharpie cakes are declining in popularity. So they hold this competition on who will make the most amazing Sharpie cake, so that the company sort of gains in popularity again. So it's very some of the stories are like really funny. And what I love about Murakami's writings, and it sort of stands out in this collection as well, is the sheer originality and inventiveness of its prose. For me, as a writer, I find it very inspiring, because I think when you're writing fiction, I think it's hard to be inventive and original, because a lot of stuff you say has been said somewhere else. So to me, Murakami, of course it's realistic, but to me, for more than realistic, he comes across as very inventive and original, which is something I absolutely adore about these writings and absolutely love about these writings. And just to wrap up, I think there's also a lot of reflections about the Japanese society, politics, and culture of that time. The setting of these short stories, a lot of political reflections, I think, but I'm not the best person to comment on these. I'm not well equipped enough to comment on these. That calls for a more sort of a close and an academic sort of a reading, and this is more sort of meant for a general audience, this review. So overall I would say, if you love that kind of playful, inventive prose which is full of symbolism and fantasy, and if you're a Haruki Murakami fan, then you should definitely go for Blind Willow, Sleeping Woman by Haruki Murakami. So guys, that's it for today. If you like my review, please do press the like button, and if you like my channel, please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for listening. Bye for now.